Hi, my name is Bernard Sheridan. Welcome back to Par Breakers Golf Academy, and today we're going to take a look at the swing of 4 different players and compare them. So right now these 4 players are in the top 5 in money winners on the PGA Tour in 2015. So on our left here is Bubba Watson, and what we want to notice here is as Bubba takes the club away, very steep, very vertical. And Jimmy Walker, and not as vertical at all. So let's move this over so we can get a better look at this. So not as vertical at all, moving to the top as Bubba creates a tremendous amount of lag at the top and what is by most overswing. So, but we can notice that as his hands rise to that top, and he hinges the club. So again, Jimmy Walker, a little bit of that same type thing, not quite as much as Bubba. All right, what we can notice too here is that Bubba's front foot is off the ground. Jimmy's is planted on the ground. And as they start down, Jimmy comes down on his shoulder plane, and Bubba a little bit below his shoulder plane. And kind of like right through the middle of that bicep there and forearm. And impact, tremendous amount of hip rotation. Jimmy Walker, not quite as much hip rotation. Okay, Bubba's got very open shoulders and lower body. And Jimmy has pretty much square shoulders. And then as Jimmy gets to the finish, he just rotates right around and gets that shoulder to the target. Bubba kind of held it off here. He was trying to hit a cut. He actually hooked this ball. So these are the first 2 players, and now we'll look at 2 more. Okay, so here's our next 2 players that are in the top 5 on the money list on the PGA Tour in 2015. And the left is Charlie Hoffman, and the right is Sang Moon Bae. So let's take a look at the difference in their swings here. And Charlie stays very much out in front of him. And shaft is pointing down the target line. Nice position here. Club is way out in front of his hands. Let's take a look at Sang Moon Bae as he sets up. And his motion, very similar to Charlie's. Okay, a little bit more breaking down of the right wrist on the takeaway. Left wrist is still flat though. And now as he comes through, moving towards the top, he's going right through his forearm, staying on that swing plane. Charlie's doing just a little bit above that, a little bit steeper. Both have very solid feet on the ground. Let's get them both pretty much at left arm parallel to the ground here. Sang Moon has a little bit more hip rotation on his backswing, and then as he gets to the top, has flat left wrist at the top. Let's take a look at Charlie. And Charlie has slight cup in the top. And now as Charlie starts down, coming right through that bicep. A little bit of blur here, but we can see that Sang is actually through his forearm. A little bit lower approach here. A lot of hip rotation. Tremendous hip rotation with Sang Moon. Charlie, as he moves into impact, also very much lots of hip rotation. Not as much as Sang Moon, but a good amount. Both have that right foot off the ground and are pushing up, creating ground force. Charlie has a nice release right down the target line as Sang Moon, and Sang Moon gets that shoulder right to the target. Great finish, real in balance. As Charlie gets to a finish, same deal, shoulder right through to the target, and a good balanced finish. So the object of this entire exercise here was for you guys to see that we have some swings that are kind of similar and some that are totally different. So, and that really says swing styles. And what really matters is impact. And how you get there can definitely have an effect on where the ball goes, but as long as your swing style is right for you and you're achieving the correct position at impact, that's all that really matters. So don't worry about your swing style. If you go to a coach and they're saying, oh, we need to change your style, then probably that coach is not for you. Work with a coach who's more concerned about what's going on in the impact zone, and that's going to help you really do what it takes where it matters, and that's at impact. So for Par Breakers Golf Academy, this little tip. Thanks so much for being with us. Don't forget to listen to our podcast, Weekly Golf Instruction Breaking Par, on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And until we meet again, try to keep it in the short grass.